Hi everyone, welcome to Sketching. This is Imran and we are on day 2 of my 5-minute sketching challenge. So today I'll be sketching a bottle of maple syrup that my good friend Hargreaves got me from work. She went all the way to Canada and got me this amazing bottle. I love me maple syrup. So we're going to do a quick sketch of this today. So I kind of basically started this sketch with some basic shapes, so some rectangles and kind of like trapeziums. I think that's what you call a trapezium, what I'm just drawing now, and kind of just building up the blocks to the image, because that's the best way to kind of start your sketch. Just simplify the object and just build in simple shapes that kind of define the kind of overall shape, and then the next step would be to kind of go into the shapes and start crafting out the curves. So as you can see, what I'm doing here is I'm just crafting out the curve that goes a little bit wider as you get to the kind of top of the bottle, and then it comes in towards the neck. This technique works really well with pretty much anything. Obviously, a lot of detailed things like, leaves on trees, you might struggle using this technique. But for like more simple objects like a bottle, or like I don't know, like a craft car, a piece of chocolate or whatever that has like curves and straight lines, you can easily use this method. There's a method called the grid method, where you kind of like make a grid and kind of concentrate on details within the grid, but I don't particularly tend to use that method. So I'm kind of like, again, moving on to the neck of the bottle and the cork. So just coming in and sketching in the kind of overall shape very lightly with my Apple pencil, and it's kind of, you can see it's kind of coming to shape now. It's actually looking like a bottle. Again, with this one, I've probably spent a bit too much time on it, because it is meant to be a 5-minute sketch, but with me, I'm just the type of person, when I start sketching something, I kind of forget about the time, and I'll just keep working on it and keep working on it. So this video, you're probably thinking, why is this a 10-minute video? It's because I went well over time on this one. So just coming into the sketch, just coming out with simple lines and curves. I mean, drawing in that sticker that's on the bottle. As you can see from my last video, the curves are a lot more smoother, and the reason for that is I've kind of got a bit of a hack for the Apple Pencil. I was finding that the Apple Pencil, every time I was like holding it, was kind of rolling around in my fingers, because it's made out of like, really good material, but it's just dead slippery and glossy. So what I did was I got a kind of end of a normal ballpoint pen, where you have these big thick rubber grips, and I just kind of pretty much stuck it on. But I'll do another video on that, to kind of like, best ways to kind of use the Apple Pencil to get a bit more grip, and I found that just worked a treat. So now just slowly working on the details, and then what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to just be adding some tonal values, so some just getting some shadows in, and just kind of blocking in where the liquid is, to give it a bit of more of a three-dimensional feel. I mean, it's really important that when you start your sketch, you really work carefully and get the sketch right, because if the sketch isn't right, then you can colour it in beautifully, as I've probably said this before, but overall it's just not going to look right, because the initial sketch wasn't right. So it really is important to kind of concentrate on that sketch. And again, because it's a 5-minute sketch challenge, by no means are you going to get the whole drawing done in 5 minutes, but it gives you a base to work on. And I think around about this time I've hit nearly just over 4 minutes. So I've not put all the details in of the line drawing, and a lot more details could have gone in. But again, this is just to warm up. This is a warm up exercise. It's kind of, again, I'm going to end up repeating myself in every video, but it's just to get the muscles going, your drawing muscles going in your hands and in your kind of brain to hand coordination. So you kind of just basically warm up, so that you can move towards towards, like, getting into right detail towards the end, which we will be doing in 2018 come the new year. So I think I've hit about 5 minutes now, so I'm well overdue. But what I tended to do with this was I was kind of really getting into the colours, and I was using the acrylic paint brush, which is kind of got some blending in it as well, and I was kind of liking how that was turning out. So just using some soft colours, just kind of like a grey for the sticker, just to block out some of the areas. It worked really nice. I was actually really happy with this quick little sketch. It kind of went to about 10 minutes, but it's only because I was kind of like, as I was drawing, I was kind of, realising that, I can do a lot more with this type of acrylic brush that they have in Procreate. So I was just adding another layer. I decided to kind of do some more inking. The pencil sketch was done, a little bit of tonal values put in, and now I just wanted to ink and sharpen up a bit of the drawing. So you just with like an ink. And this is what I do. When I use traditional materials, it's initial sketch with pencil, and then I go in with some kind of tonal washes with maybe watercolor or maybe just markers, and then I kind of go in with an ink outline. I know a lot of artists, the most common method is to do a pencil sketch, then outline in ink, and then do the color. I prefer to do it like this. I just like to see some colour before I outline. Purely, it's just a personal preference of mine. It's just how I like to do my art. So as you can see, I'm not outlining the whole thing. I'm just outlining where kind of to bring the eye closer to some of the detail. And it works really great. The ink brushes, I've not tested them all out yet, but this is just one of the fine brushes on the toolkit that you have with Procreate. So just slowly working it in, and then later on I do start doing some cross-hatching to get some shadows in, because from the image the light source is coming in from the right hand side, so obviously I'll go into this in a lot more depth in the upcoming kind of tutorial videos that I do, and they will be a lot longer than this. So if you really want to kind of learn step by step of how to kind of draw and sketch a lot better and improve, then do subscribe to the channel, because that will be coming in early 2018 after I've done this 30-day sketch challenge. So I'm just doing some kind of cross-hatching lines. Well, I've not really cross-hatched anything, but I'm just putting some lines in the kind of shape of the shadow, and it just kind of brings about the three-dimensional aspect of the drawing. And you probably can see on the edges I've not been very neat, but I'll do tidy it up at the end. And that's the advantage with digital, because you can just like work on different layers, and you don't have to be neat initially, and right at the end you can just get the eraser tool and just kind of erase out all those kind of areas where it overbled. So I think now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add in like a grey tone for some shading, to kind of darken some of the shadows. But generally, I was actually deleting some of the bleeding that I was talking about. So I was just erasing out some of the work on the edge of the bottle to just neaten it up. And now I think this is what I do now. Yep, it is. So I was just using a normal round brush with a light grey tone. I just create a bit of a shadow on where the bottle is. So the shadow is obviously going to be on the left hand side because the light is coming from the right. And this is just to give it a bit more depth. And with the same brush, I then decided to kind of use the same brush on the bottle to come, to kind of go into the shadows within the bottle. So as you can see, I'm just working it in. And again, because of the pressure sensitivity of the Apple Pencil, it just works so great. You can go in really light, and then if you need to darken up, you just go over it again, which works like in real life as well when you're doing washes with watercolor and ink. So that worked out really nice. It kind of quite resembles the the look of using markers. I mean, I've used markers in artwork in the past, but to be honest with you, they're really, really expensive to maintain and have a decent collection of markers. So I've only ever used grey tones and cool greys and warm greys in my artwork. I've never really gone towards the colour side of things. But when you have a digital kind of option like this, you've pretty much got all the colours in the spectrum, and it's you can literally do whatever you wish where colour is concerned. So yeah, so basically that was day 2's sketch. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join me again tomorrow for day 3 sketch. So thanks so much for your time, and take care of yourself, and peace.